In the 1920s, Clark developed the world's first engine-powered lift truck. Although primitive by today's standards, these machines revolutionized material handling. Over the years, lift trucks have evolved through sophisticated hydraulic systems, electrical components, and numerous safety features such as overhead guards and operator restraints. But those early trucks had three basic principles that still apply today: steer tires on the back, drive tires in the front, and a counterweight built onto the rear of the body. These design principles allow a lift truck to perform the duties it was designed for, but they also make lift truck operation a very specific procedure. Before you get on any lift truck and start to operate it, you should be trained and authorized. Even if you have had prior operator training on other models or makes, always read the operator's manual for specific details on the truck you are about to use. OSHA requires your employer to train you for the specific types of equipment you operate. This video is for operators of sit-down riders, both electric and internal combustion, and will not cover other types of equipment such as stand-up riders and pallet trucks. Refer to the Clark videos, Safety Starts With You for stand-up lift trucks, and Safety Starts With You for pallet trucks.
A daily or pre-shift inspection is required by OSHA. Consult the operator's manual for your truck for proper instructions on the daily check. Follow these instructions carefully. Clark recommends you use a form to mark the results of your daily check and return the completed form to your supervisor or maintenance personnel, whichever is your employer's policy. It serves as a helpful check for both the person doing the check and the mechanic maintaining the truck. Doing a daily check helps familiarize you with all the components of your truck and keep it in a safe condition. Before performing the daily check, make sure the truck is properly parked, in neutral gear, with park brakes set, forks on the floor and the key removed. You should first do a visual check. Look for leaks under and around the truck. Check the upright for worn, misadjusted, or broken chains, damaged rails, leaky hoses, or cylinders. This is a visual check only. Never put your hands, arms, or any tool or other device in the upright. Make sure the load backrest extension is secure and its welds are okay, and that the fork retention is in place. Look at the forks. Are they bent, cracked, or worn more than 10% at the heel? See your operator's manual for details on how to measure. If so, they must be replaced. Look at the overhead guard. It's there to protect you from objects falling off your forks or from nearby racks, but it's not intended to withstand a falling capacity load. Grab the overhead guard legs and give it a good shake. Its welds and bolts should be secure. Examine the tires. Cushion tires are hard rubber and are for indoor use on improved floors, such as warehouse concrete floors. Pneumatic and solid pneumatic tires are grooved and air-filled for use indoors and outdoors. Check tires for wear and proper inflation. Check for embedded nails, screws, etc., or any damage. Missing chunks and underinflation can lead to tip-overs. Look for the operator's manual, decals, and the data plate. They contain important information regarding safe operation, load center, and capacity of the truck. If any of these are missing or illegible, they need to be replaced. See the operator's manual for a listing of the decals that should be on your truck. On LPG trucks, make sure the fuel line connections are tight and the fuel tank and its mounting are in good condition. Removal or installation of fuel tanks requires that face shields and gloves be worn by the operator. On diesel, gasoline, or CNG trucks, check the fuel lines for leaks. Refer to the Clark video, Safe Handling of Fuels, for more information. On electric trucks, check the battery connections for tightness or damage. Make sure the battery is secured and the retention plates or arms on side entry battery compartments are in place. And make sure the battery cover or seat deck latches are secure. Next, check the engine, but only if it's cool. Open the engine compartment carefully, and never smoke while performing this check. On internal combustion trucks, check the engine oil level, the coolant level in the recovery bottle, the fuel level, and hydraulic fluid level. On electric trucks, check the battery electrolyte level and the charge level. On both types of trucks, check the brake reservoir, if it has one. Check your operator's manual for your model. Lastly, check for and note any obvious damage. The next test is the functional test to check that the truck operates properly. On IC trucks, slowly turn on the LPG or CNG fuel. See your operator's manual for specifics on your truck. Check for leaks. Do not check with your bare hands. Safely enter the truck using 3 points of contact. Sit in the seat and check the seat belt for wear and the buckle for correct latching. Fasten the seat belts snugly around your hips. Check the horn. Check the direction control for correct operation. They should have no looseness or binding. Check the lift lower, tilt, and auxiliary control levers for smooth operation. There should be no binding, and they should return to neutral with no help from you. After checking each control lever, put it back into the safe park or neutral position. Check the parking brake. You should feel tension when you apply it. If it's loose, it's probably not going to hold the truck. A properly adjusted parking brake should hold a loaded truck on a 15% grade. If your parking brake isn't working, tag the truck out of service and get it fixed. Check the brake pedal. It should feel firm and with sustained foot pressure should not slowly drift to the floor. With the truck in safe starting position, parking brake set, direction control in neutral, turn the key to start the engine on IC trucks. Your truck's operator's manual may have specifics on the truck monitoring systems and instrument panel display, so read the operator's manual for your truck. On electric trucks, ensure that the battery connection is properly made. Make sure the truck is in a safe starting condition with parking brake set and all controls in neutral. Then turn on the key switch. There are several different types of control pedal arrangements on IC trucks. Read the operator's manual to be familiar with the type of control on your truck. The most common pedal arrangement is right pedal accelerator, left pedal inching, and center pedal service brake. Some other different pedal arrangements you might see are right pedal brake, no left pedal, and right pedal accelerator. Unitrol, where the right pedal selects direction and controls speed, and a left pedal for inching. And hydrostatic drive, right pedal forward and speed, left pedal reverse and speed. Note that hydrostatic drives will feel different than torque converter drives. This is because they have a characteristic called dynamic braking, and this can be tailored to suit the application. Also, hydrostatic drives can be adjusted to coast like a torque converter, or to have no coasting. If you are to operate a hydrostatic truck, read the operator's manual and make sure that you understand the controls. Check for adequate overhead clearance. Operate the lift and tilt functions using the lift, tilt, and auxiliary levers, and cycle the upright all the way up. Then all the way down, and then forward and back. If the upright will not raise to the full height without making an unusual noise, this may indicate low hydraulic fluid level. Have a trained mechanic check it out. Components should move freely with no binding. If the upright does not raise and lower smoothly, do not use the truck until a trained mechanic has corrected the situation. An upright that is not operating properly can lead to accidents. With the upright lowered to its lowest level, turn the steering wheel a full turn to its stops in each direction. The steering should operate smoothly without any looseness, binding, or unusual noises. Return the steer wheels to straight ahead, release the parking brake, and move slowly forward. Apply the service brake and come to a stop. The brake should bring the truck to a controlled stop without high pedal effort. While operating the truck, listen for any unusual noises. These indicate that something is wrong. Look behind the truck and check the floor for leaks. If your truck is equipped with lights, alarms, or mirrors, make sure they're functioning correctly and are not missing or in need of repair. If any component of the truck is missing or in need of repair, mark it on the checklist. Do not attempt to replace or repair the item unless you are trained and authorized. Instead, place a Do Not Operate tag on the truck and remove the key. Take the checklist to your supervisor or maintenance department and inform them of the problem. To summarize, OSHA requires a daily or pre-shift inspection of lift trucks. You must perform both visual and functional checks. Mark your results on an operator's check sheet, which are available from your Clark dealer. Never attempt repairs unless you are a trained and authorized mechanic. Tag out a truck needing repair and alert your supervisor or maintenance personnel. Turn in your completed check sheet to the supervisor or maintenance personnel. And last, do not operate a malfunctioning truck.
The operator's manual has complete instructions and warnings. Read, understand, and obey this important information. The instruction and warning decals on the truck are a short version as a constant reminder while you are operating the truck. Do not operate this truck unless you are trained and authorized. Do not operate a malfunctioning truck. Look where you drive. Handle only safe and stable loads. Adjust your forks as wide as the load allows. Always watch for pedestrians. Lift trucks will tip over if not operated properly. Drive with the forks lowered. Slow for turns and do not turn on slopes. Always wear your seat belt. Slow down and use extreme caution on wet or slippery surfaces. Do not lift loads larger than the capacity shown on the nameplate. Never climb or stand on the overhead guard. You could slip and fall, injuring yourself. Never wrap your hand around the overhead guard leg. Should you collide with a rack or other hard surface, you could be severely injured. Always keep your body within the operator's compartment and under the overhead guard during operation. Never put any part of your body or any tool or anything else in the upright. You could sustain severe crushing injuries. Do not climb the upright or stand on or under the forks. You could be crushed or injured in a fall or by falling forks. Do not use the upright to elevate personnel. They could fall and be killed. Use the proper equipment to elevate people, like a personnel aerial lift. Be careful when positioning forks. Make sure the fork stops are in place. If the stops are missing, the forks could fall off the end of the carriage and severely injure you or someone else. And use your feet to move the forks. Do not pull them with your hands. Before getting off the truck, lower the forks and tilt slightly forward. Set direction control in neutral, turn off the key, and set the parking brake. Always look in the direction of travel. If the load blocks your view forward, travel in reverse, except up ramps. If you can't see, don't move. Use a spotter as needed. Don't turn with your load raised. Go straight into the rack for optimum load placement. When backing out of a rack, back straight out, lower the load, and then make the turn to travel down the aisle. Never leave a load raised. The lift and tilt cylinders can drift, possibly causing the load to fall. You or someone else in the area could be severely injured. Always keep your load low to the ground, especially when traveling and parked. Carry loads only high enough to clear obstacles. Make sure the load does not protrude into the carriage or back into the upright. It may cause misstaging, malfunction of the upright, or broken loads. Handle long, wide, or high loads with extra caution, and never handle loose or unbalanced loads. Make sure the load is back against the load backrest and centered on the forks. Watch for slack chains when lowering. They mean you have a hang-up in the upright or in the rack. To summarize, always look in the direction of travel. If you can't see, don't move. Use a spotter. Never turn with a raised load. And always keep your load low to the ground. Make sure loads do not stick into the upright, and only handle stable loads. And last, watch for slack chains.
Always get on the truck using 3 points of contact for surest footing. Adjust the seat if necessary to reach the pedals and controls comfortably. Put your seatbelt on and adjust it so it's snug but not tight. Make sure the parking brake is applied and holding the truck. You should feel tension when you apply it. If it's loose, it's probably not going to hold the truck. Also, make sure the directional control lever is in neutral. Turn the key and start the engine. Remember, if your parking brake isn't working, tag the truck out of service and get it fixed. Some trucks have foot-operated brakes, and some have hand brakes, and some have seat brakes. Check your truck's operator's manual for correct parking brake checking procedure. On an electric truck, turn on the key switch. Apply the service brake with your foot and release the parking brake. Check your operator's manual for the correct procedure if you have a hydrostatic truck. Look in the direction you intend to travel and make sure the path is clear. Then shift either forward or reverse. Release the brake and put your foot on the accelerator. Always drive at moderate speeds. Never be in a hurry. That's how accidents happen and people get injured. When in doubt, slow down. To stop, take your foot off the accelerator and gently apply the brake. Do not slam on the brakes unless in an emergency. You could cause the load to fall off the forks or even tip the truck over. On electric trucks, you can stop the truck electrically. This is called plugging. Plugging is a smooth way of braking and changing directions, and can save on service brake life. But be aware it may take you a longer distance to stop with plugging than with a foot brake. If you are traveling in forward or reverse and want to change directions, simply move the control lever in the opposite direction. The truck will slow down to a stop and then proceed smoothly in the other direction. If you want to plug to a stop, simply shift to neutral or release the accelerator as the truck comes to a stop before it proceeds in the opposite direction. You cannot use this method with gas trucks. To summarize, always use 3 points of contact when getting on and off the truck. Wear your seat belt. Make sure the parking brake is properly adjusted. The gear shift lever is in neutral. And drive at moderate speeds. And remember, plugging is a smooth way to stop with electric trucks only.
To park either an IC or electric truck, first come to a complete stop. Lower your forks all the way to the ground and tilt them forward. Shift the transmission to neutral. Apply the parking brake and turn the key off. Never leave the truck running in gear or with the parking brake off. Always park on level floors, away from doorways, fire extinguishers, or other safety equipment. If there is any possibility of the truck moving, block the wheels, and never park in front of fire exits. To summarize, stop completely, put your forks on the floor, shift lever in neutral. Apply the parking brake, turn the engine off, and remove the key. And do not block emergency equipment. If your truck may move, block the wheels.
Always stay alert for pedestrians. Lift trucks and pedestrians often share the same aisles and paths. Pedestrian accidents are the most common type of accidents with lift trucks. Terrible crushing injuries result when a lift truck hits a person. Always look in the direction of travel for coworkers or other personnel who may be in your lane of travel. Sound your horn, try to make eye contact, and wave them out of the way. Sound your horn and be prepared to stop at intersections. Slow down at corners, and watch for pedestrians or other trucks. If your truck has alarms, lights, or mirrors, make sure they work and are not broken, but don't rely on pedestrians to see or hear the signals and get out of the way. They often don't. Also, watch the tail swing of your truck. Lift trucks have rear steering for added maneuverability. So when you turn, the counterweight swings wide. Watch out for pedestrians, even to the sides of your truck. Try to keep a circle around your truck free of pedestrians, and of course, never give rides to anyone. Lift trucks are designed for only one person, the operator. And you're responsible for the safe operation of the truck at all times, so stay alert. The use of elevators needs special care. Make sure their capacity is sufficient for your truck and its load, and that the floor is in good sound condition. Enter slowly, park the truck with the parking brake set, and turn off the engine. Do not operate your truck if you are on medications that may make you drowsy, or under the influence of alcohol or illegal drugs, or if you feel ill or fatigued. And when using IC trucks indoors, make sure there's adequate ventilation. Carbon monoxide can build up unnoticed and cause drowsiness. Follow the traffic rules of your plant. Watch out for workplace hazards such as overhead obstructions, protrusions out of racks, other intrusions into the aisles, bad floor conditions, debris, etc. To summarize, stay alert for pedestrians. Always look in the direction of travel. Make sure your alarms, lights, and mirrors, etc. are working. Watch your tail swing. Absolutely no riders on your truck. Do not operate if ill, under drugs, or tired. Follow your plant's traffic rules. And last, watch for hazards.
Make sure the surfaces you travel on are free of debris, potholes, oil, ice, water, etc. These could cause you to lose control of your truck. Be careful when operating on ramps. Always travel straight up and down in the center of the ramp and away from the edges. If your truck is loaded, travel with the forks upgrade. If unloaded, travel with the forks downgrade. Last, never turn on a ramp or travel across a ramp. This could lead to a tip-over. Get out of your forklift and check the condition of the floors of trailers, elevators, and rail cars. Make sure they can support the weight of your truck and load. Docks are areas where extreme caution is required. Congestion, heavy vehicle and pedestrian traffic, and poor surface conditions all add to the hazards. When operating on docks and offloading highway trucks, be sure the dock boards are securely in place and in good condition. Personally, make sure that the tractor-trailer brakes are set, the trailer's wheels are chocked, and the dock lock is in place if you have one. Do not rely on the driver to tell you these things are done. If the tractor has been removed from the trailer, make sure that the trailer supports are correctly in place. If you fail to take these steps, the truck could roll away from the dock and your forklift could fall out of the back. If the dock does not have closed doors when the trailers are removed, be extremely cautious and stay away from the open doorway. Wet and cold weather will make the exposed dock edges very slippery. Good housekeeping is especially important around docks. Never overload your truck. Check the data plate for the rated capacity. Although a tip-over is a rare accident, it often results in serious, even fatal injuries. To avoid tipping your truck, you must understand the concept of the stability triangle. One of the most important things to remember about the design of a lift truck is that it is supported at 3 points. This is true even if it has 4 wheels. The steer axle of most 4-wheel lift trucks is attached to the truck by means of a pivot pin in the center of the axle. This 3-point support forms a triangle when the points are connected. This is called the stability triangle. The stability triangle has been determined by engineered tests in such a way that it can predict when load weights and motion contribute to truck instability. The black circle represents the center of gravity, or CG, of an unloaded, motionless truck. The center of gravity shifts according to the loads added or operations performed, such as traveling and stacking. If the CG moves outside the triangle, the truck could overturn. In traveling with a safe, recommended load, the CG is maintained at a point in the middle of the stability triangle. This provides safe side-to-side and front-to-back stability. When a load is added, the CG shifts toward the base of the triangle. The result? Well, the heavier the load, the greater the tendency to tip forward as the CG nears the base. This is also the case in braking. What happens when the truck operates with one side of the truck lower than the other? On uneven ground, for example. The CG shifts toward the side of the triangle, and sideways tipping becomes more likely. The same is true when turning. Any turn will shift the CG toward the sides and introduce the possibility of a lateral overturn. The higher your speed is in a turn, the more likely the truck could overturn. This is true whether you have a load on the forks or not. We can also think of the stability triangle as a 3-sided pyramid. When the forks are lifted, the closer the CG moves toward the top of the pyramid, and the narrower the range of side-to-side and front-to-back stability becomes. Because of this, turning with a raised load is extremely dangerous. And remember, any change to the truck's weight, load capacity, or certain components will alter the stability triangle. Narrower tires and rims, for example, will change the truck's stability. Remember, loaded trucks are more stable laterally than unloaded trucks, but loaded or unloaded, never make sharp turns or fast turns, and never turn with the forks raised. Always travel with your forks low to the ground and tilted backwards slightly. Again, watch where you are going. Uneven surfaces, debris, sloped ground, slippery pavement, and potholes can cause tip-overs. Should a tip-over occur, never jump. Your chances of surviving the tip-over are greatly increased if you stay with the truck. Wearing your seatbelt helps keep your body in the operator's compartment. Some trucks are equipped with lateral supports, which can also help you stay in the truck. Hold the steering wheel tightly with both hands and press your shoulders and back into the seat. Brace your feet on the floorboard and lean away from the ground. Ride it out. Don't jump. To summarize, make sure the surfaces you are operating on are smooth and free of debris. When traveling on ramps, loaded forks upgrade, unloaded forks downgrade, regardless of direction. Never turn on ramps. Never overload a forklift. Always know the weight of your load. Ride out a tip-over. Buckle up and brace. Don't jump. And stay alert at all times. Watch for pedestrians.
As a lift truck operator, you are a professional. Operate in a professional manner. You must be serious about operating your truck safely. Never take part in horseplay. If you are careless or reckless, accidents will happen, which can mean serious or fatal injuries for you or your co-workers. Keep your truck in a well-maintained condition, but do not make repairs yourself unless you are a trained mechanic, and use only original manufacturer's parts. Put safety first, and remember, safety starts with you. If you have any questions or need further information,